Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name is Olivia and this is my channel where I love to talk about all things nail polish. This is a video I've been so excited to film for a while now, but I knew that because of the sheer amount of content that I wanted to cover and to do it just right, it was going to take a while to prepare for it. Indeed, you're going to see me looking down at my iPad quite a bit because I've got 3 pages of notes that I've written out here for all the things that I want to cover. But yeah, today we're talking about the Polish and Beauty Expo. In this video, I'm going to get into everything about what is the Polish and Beauty Expo? What have my experiences with the expo been? What else do I have in here? Things like what to expect from, say, the polish making workshop, what to expect when you are in the shopping expo area. But then and there's also shopping tips that I have as well. But one of the main reasons why I wanted to make this video was that I was thinking back to what it was like for me a couple years ago before I attended my first PBE. I'm somebody who is an introvert. I am someone who experiences at times social awkwardness, social anxiety. I deal often with being visually and auditorily, that's not a word, seeing and hearing overstimulation, y'all know what I mean. And so I wanted to have part of this video be focused on that as well. So strategies that I would recommend for any of you who either maybe you've been thinking about not going to PBE because you experience those things and you're concerned about what the environment would be like, or maybe you do already have a ticket to go, but this could be some lingering anxiety that you have in the back of your mind. So I'm gonna cover that as well. As always, I'm gonna have timestamps for this that you can click around as you want to. Like I said, I've got 3 pages of notes here, so we're gonna be sitting here for a while and chatting. So also feel free to just make yourself a nice cup of coffee or tea and just chill. It's I'm filming this on a Saturday morning, and so first, another reason why I had to put off filming this is that I lost my voice after being at a work event earlier this week. So those of you who are regular viewers of my channel know I mentioned that a couple weeks ago I was speaking at a conference in Denmark, came back from that, then went to Seattle pretty much right away for a quick trip, came back from that, and then earlier this week I went to New York for a work trip, and part of what I was doing there, I was on booth duty in the expo hall, and I was just like, my voice is gone. So I am back. Also, I know many of you have said on my last video that you love living vicariously through me and all my travels. So I'll have a section towards the end of this video. I'll timestamp it where I'll talk about how the New York trip went, including which Broadway shows that I saw and stuff. So yeah, I think that's all for the beginning here. And like I said, we've got lots to cover. It's going to be a great video. So let's go ahead and get right into it. Here's a look at what's on my nails today. I was feeling kind of sparkly, and yeah, so here we are. It is just very glittery, very sparkly. The main polish that I'm wearing here is from a brand that's new to me. This is Lackistry, and it's called Amaze Balls. It's they've got a silver one too that I think I bought in that order called Silver Balls. So this one isn't silver, it's like a light gold champagne color one, and I absolutely adore it. Now, in order to get full opacity with this, I think it builds up to pretty much full opacity in 2 coats, but what I did was I started with a coat of this light gold polish from Manucurist called Gold Sand, and then put 2 coats of Amaze Balls on top of that, so that any if there do happen to be any gaps in, like small gaps in coverage there, that would be covered, or that would, you would still see gold peeking through there. And because that wasn't enough sparkle for me, I finished it off with a coat of a silver, my homemade silver reflective glitter topper. So yeah, this is, I think the vibe I'm going for here is, it's like a stick of butter that's going to the club. So first, if you're newer to nail polish like I was a couple years ago before going to my first PBE, you might even be wondering in general, what is the Polish and Beauty Expo? So instead of me trying to ramble and come up with a good explanation of it, I'm just going to read the overview that's posted on the PBE website. It says, Polish and Beauty Expo is an annual U.S. event that started in 2020 to provide in-person connections for indie nail polish and beauty makers with customers and fans. Organized by KB Shimmer owner Christy Rose, PBE is a showcase for nail polish and beauty vendors from across the world. This two-day event offers shopping, learning, and the opportunity to connect with brands and other polish fans. And some logistics, it takes place at the Tinley Park Convention Center. That's in Tinley Park, Illinois. It's a suburb that's about 30 miles south of Chicago. And the dates for 2026, Saturday, July 18th is when they will be having the polish making workshops and the meet and greet cocktail reception. And then the main day is going to be on Sunday, July 19th, which is the shopping expo. I also will note that tickets went on sale on December 1st of 2025, last year. So if it's the case that you're just now finding out about PBE and you're wondering why not everything is available, it's because tickets went on sale in December, and there's just a lot of hype for it. Some other things I do want to note would be that I encourage you, if you are someone who's on Facebook, there's a PBE, the official PBE Facebook group that I'll put a link to in the description of this video. That is where I know that I stay up to date with the latest updates on things like event logistics. You also have the vendors who, as it's now starting to get closer to the expo date, they'll begin posting previews of the polishes that they'll be offering, other details like that. And then I also do want to, before I get into the rest of this video, take a moment to just give some praise for Christy, the organizer of PBE, for just how well organized the event is and how well communication is handled for that. Like I mentioned in the intro, I travel a lot. I speak at a lot of conferences, more so on the work side. But even then, in that realm of things, I've definitely experienced a wide range of how well things are done with logistics. And I've got to say, I have nothing but positive things to share about my experience at PBE. I also do want to commend Christy and the rest of the PBE team for making diversity inclusion an ongoing priority for PBE. And so I believe what I have here, this note I've pulled from, I think it was the FAQ page. There's a note on the PBE website about their stance on diversity and inclusion. It says, at Polish and Beauty Expo, we believe a diverse world is a beautiful world. We believe that everyone, no matter who you are or who you love or where you are from, has a right to feel welcome at our events. And so I just want to put that out there. And I'm someone who, even if an event is something that's right up my alley in terms of something that I'm interested in, y'all, if it is not organized well, if it's something where I just feel like either I personally don't feel welcome or other people have expressed they don't feel welcome, I can't recommend it. But in this case, I really do have such good things to say about PBE. Now, as we are getting started, and as I was planning out this video, I thought it would be important for me to set, I guess, some disclaimers, some expectations for this video, because there are certain aspects of PBE that I personally don't have any insights into. A big part of that is because I live about half an hour away from Tinley Park. And so I know many people travel in from out of town to attend PBE. So I want to just, before we get into the video, I don't want any of you end up watching this full video and there was a certain thing that you were expecting and hoping that I cover, but it turns out I didn't. So so here are the things that I don't have any personal insights on. Number one, the Saturday meet and greet reception. My first time attending PBE was 2024. I'll also get into what my experience has been so far with PBE and the little bit I was able to do last year in 2025. Unfortunately, I have not yet been to the meet and greet reception. I will be going this year for the first time, so I'm really excited about that. But I, unfortunately, as of now, can't really tell you about what to expect from that. It's going to be brand new to me too. And then these other three items I'm going to list here relate more to me being a local and not having insights into what it's like for people coming in from out of town. So unfortunately, I don't have insights onto local hotels, traveling to the event from beyond, say, I'm going to be driving there. I know there is local public transportation, but you definitely do want to do some research on that if that is something that you are going to need to rely on to get there. I also will not be covering anything about options for shipping your polishes back home from the event. I believe that that PBE does have a shipping station there at the event, but I don't know any details about that. And also options for using a shopping ferry. Those are, my understanding, people who offer the so these are completely not at all associated with PBE, not being official or anything like that. These are people who, just regular people like you and me, who will be attending the event. But then what they decide to do is, I think, there's often a thread in the PBE Facebook group where people who are not attending can try to get connected with one of these ferries who will, I think there's a fee involved. They set their own fees. They can do the shopping on your behalf and ship the polishes to you. Again, that's something I just don't know about. And because there is so much else that I will be covering in this video, I just didn't have the time to really do a lot of research into those areas. But I will say, if you are interested in any of those topics, and those are things that you are hoping to get answers to, my best recommendation would be to take a look through the PBE Facebook group, especially do a search for posts from previous events, and hopefully that'll give you some insights into those areas. So now let's talk about my first PBE. I don't think I said this already, so I think I'll say that now. I am not affiliated with the Polish and Beauty Expo. This is not at all intended to be any kind of official video. This is just my own experiences and sharing tips and insights and things that I wish I knew before my first time. So, how did I first hear about the event? So for this, we need to take a journey back in time. So I started, I've told this story a little bit before in here, but I promise I'm retelling it again because it connects to where we are today. I started getting my hair colored red back in December of 2023. It was something I'd been wanting to do for a really long time, but never thought about taking the leap. And then after watching pretty much every single Brad Mondo hair color video that's out there. I found a local hairstylist. We picked out a color that was going to work well for me, and you know, I've had red hair ever since then. And honestly, it's so bizarre for me whenever I look at pictures of myself with my like natural hair color. I just feel like this color fits me so much more than that one did. So anyway, so I started getting my hair dyed, but then the problem I was experiencing was that whenever I would go and wash my hair, like shampoo and everything, my nails would get stained so badly, and I needed to figure out something to do about that. That's what led me to nail polish. So fun story, actually, just earlier this week when I got back from my New York trip, I was, it was such a busy trip. I didn't even have time like I normally do when I travel in the evenings to like, to do my nails. I had my nails the same manicure for like 4 days, which is a very long time for me. My goodness. But I got back home and I was like, yeah, I'm going to redo my nails. Y'all, I was so tired. I fell asleep like in the middle of doing my nails. I only had one hand that I redid, but then I needed to touch up my hair color. So I was just like, so this hand was bare, and I'm like, fine, it'll be fine. I'll just, they'll get stained. It's whatever. And yeah, my nails did get stained, but you know, it was actually good timing because I'm going to insert a picture that I took of my thumbnail the other day, so you can see exactly how it looks on my bare nails when I, this was how my nails were looking for like a good 6-7 months before I was like, I need to do something about this. I need to see what I can do to get this covered up. And I initially started with nail wraps. Those are kind of cute, but they kept snagging in my hair whenever I would shampoo and stuff. So I'm just like, So then I started looking into nail polish, and I really just thought that nail polish for me was going to be a just like a functional solution for my stained nails from the hair dye. But it slowly started to become something that was a really big way for me to express myself creatively. So I started doing my nails in, I think, like early July of 2024, like maybe a week or two before the Polish and Beauty Expo. So how I first heard about the event was I got into doing my nails. I got to the point where I started looking onto YouTube for nail polish stuff. And I want to say it was a video from Nicole Loves Nails that was talking about PBE. And so I'm watching this, I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I didn't know there's a Polish and Beauty Expo that like exists in the world. As I was watching it, I don't think I yet knew when it was happening or certainly where it was happening. But then I heard about when it was happening. I'm like, oh, it's coming up pretty soon. That's, too bad I can't travel for that. I wish I had known sooner. I wish I'd started doing my nails sooner. But then found out it was happening like half an hour away from me. So before I could talk myself out of it, I bought a ticket and I was excited. I had just started getting into like figuring out what indie nail polish was, and so it was like a whole new world of like an experience for me. But at the same time, I suddenly started to panic because I thought, well, I'm assuming that the people who are going to be at this event will have been like doing their nails for far longer than I have, and I just imposter syndrome like kicked in super hard. So I was a little nervous. I also thought like I went into it with this feeling of like everybody else is gonna already know each other. I'm going to this event by myself. I don't know anybody. What's this gonna be like? But I've got to say, I as you will hear throughout this video, I had a fantastic time. Turns out I didn't need to worry. Everyone was super welcoming. Nobody knew or cared that I was there by myself unless I said like, hey, I'm here alone. Like it's like no one's gonna notice. But I wanted to mention a couple things that I enjoyed the most about my experience. So I think something that really hit me the most, that I just was like, oh wow, this is new and I love this. I put on my notes here, being around other people who also love color and sparkle. Okay, so if you couldn't already tell from Exhibit A, I love color. And it's funny how like my two extremes, like my two options in the way that I exist and show up in the world, it's either like bright, fun color like this, or there's like the like semi-goth Olivia, which I think was like how I was in my previous video, where it's like dark, moody, vampy. I'm like, I'm both ways, but you know, when it comes to the bright color side of me, and also someone who moves throughout the world in a way where I'm so intentional about the color choices that I make, and how that is so integral to who I am. I realize though that not everyone else is like that, and often it can feel a little bit like not lonely or isolating, but I just like, you know, when you're just moving throughout your day and other people notice like, hey, wow, did you know that your nails are matching your outfit? It looks great. I'm like, oh yeah, that was intentional. I guess what I'm saying is I didn't really, I don't have like other people in my life who also are like this, you know. Even my best friends, like they love that this is who I am, but they are not into color like that. Like color was not the thing that brought me and my friends together. So at one point I remember I was just like standing there looking around the expo, and I just was like, oh wait, these are my people. Like everyone here, like these are also people who think about color and glitter and sparkle in the way that I do. And y'all, it just felt so validating. It felt like I felt not alone in that regard for probably the first time ever. And once I realized that helped me to chill out a whole lot, because it was just like, oh, you know, when you don't see other people who share this love like you do on a day-to-day basis, it can feel really good when you finally are in that kind of environment. I also enjoy getting to see indie nail polishes in person before buying them. You know, you're oftentimes when you see things online, you kind of wonder like, is this going to be the best one for me? What does this really look like? And so getting to have that be part of the shopping experience was really cool. I also enjoy, I put on here, being able to buy a wide variety of colors, finishes, and formulas, since I was very new to nail polish and didn't yet know exactly what my preferences were. Y'all, I had no idea. There were so many, like, okay, so the kind of polish that you all never really see me wear or talk about, because it's just not part of my favorite type of polish, like pale pastel shimmers. And I know other nail creators, like that is their jam, that is their favorite thing. For me, my preferences are either like bold colors with toppers or vampy dark red polishes. So but at my first PBE I didn't yet know that about myself. So the pretty much most of the like pale pastel shimmers that I have in my collection are ones that I bought from PBE, because I didn't yet know if I would like them or not, and so I had to give them a try. But yeah, it is great to be able to shop around, and if you've been wanting to try polishes from a brand, but maybe you didn't want to have to pay shipping for just a single polish or something like that, this is a fantastic time to be able to do that. I also want to say what I would do differently as a first timer. And for this, I sat and thought about it for a while, because there really wasn't anything I would do differently, except I put on here, maybe think about setting a budget, question mark. I went back through my chat messages with my husband Jack from that time, and I looked and saw. I told him that I added up all my purchases from there and ended up spending about $350, which, you know, I went in not really setting any kind of budget. I was just like, hey, I'm just gonna have fun. I'm not gonna do too much. I mean, I'm very happy with everything that I got. So I would say maybe if I were to do it differently, I might consider a budget, but you know, even without setting one, I had a fantastic time. So now let's get into the first part of like what to expect in general, starting with the polish making workshop. This is a Saturday activity. I believe there's 2 different times that it's offered, an earlier one and a later one. And I last year, 2025, was the first time that I was able to go to the polish making workshop. Side note about 2025, it turns out that like maybe a month or so before PBE weekend, I found out that I had an unfortunate schedule change that required me to be out of town on the Sunday shopping day. So on that Saturday, basically, I went to the polish making workshop, had a lot of fun, and then went back home, dropped my stuff off, and then, you know, picked up my suitcase, went to the airport, and I had to miss the Sunday shopping day. However, my husband Jack, we were already planning for him to come along with me. So he went, and I gave him a shopping list. I still got everything I wanted, and he was just like the best. He was like, yeah. I'll. Even before I asked, like, hey, can you go shopping for me? He was like, okay, so you're gonna give me a list of what you want, right? And then he added in a few other bonus polishes for me that he thought I would love. It was so wonderful. But last year I was able to do the polish making workshop. By that point, I had really started to fall in love with nail polish so much that I'm like, I wonder like how it would be to make my own stuff. And I just didn't know what to expect. So I thought, let's do the polish making workshop. I had a blast. So again, lots of notes here. So you go, you check in, and then you're given a kit that includes the materials to make 6 bottles of nail polish. The polish making workshop is organized and put on by the company Glitter Unique. That's where I get the majority of my polish making supplies now. And yeah, you get these this little box that includes 6 bottles. They'll be empty, but these are some of the ones that I made. 6 bottles of polish. You then go into a room that's filled with like round banquet tables, and you get to decide where to sit. Also, side note again, for any of you like me with anxiety, part of why I am explaining all of this and painting the picture is that I know how it can feel when you're like, but I really need to know what to expect. Trust me, y'all, I got you. So yeah, you go in there and round tables, you decide where to sit. And I just thought, I just sat at a table that had a few people there. I was like, hi, I'm Olivia, let's make some polish. Woo! And it was a lot of fun. On each round table, there's going to be some shared supplies there. So I believe it was like some shared bottles of nail polish thinner. There are also various liquid pigment colors that you would be able to use throughout the workshop. Then at the front of the room, there's this like really long table that it was the best table ever. It had like all of these like glitter and shimmer packets on it. And the way it would work was that initially the facilitator would start by walking everyone through how to make the same bottle of polish together. So there's like a shared recipe that we were all gonna do together as an example of like, Here's how you pour your suspension base into the little measuring cup, and you want to fill it up to this line, and then you want to put in this many drops of liquid pigment, then you want to put in this many scoops of like shimmer, stuff like that. So you get into the routine of what to do. From that point forward, you've got 5 remaining bottles of like empty like bottles to choose from, or you get to decide how you want your remaining 5 to look. And that's when you then like you go up to that glitter shimmer packet table, and you bring just a couple at a time, I would say, like back to your table, and once you're finished with them, you take them back, and so on. And it was a blast. I'm gonna insert a picture like over here of me with the bottles that the polishes that I made. Also, as I was looking back through my photos, I'm like, my hair has gotten a lot longer since then. But anyway, yeah. So some suggestions that I have for this. One, it's a good idea to write down the ingredients that you're putting in each bottle, and also like the measurements of that. So like you might say like 2 small scoops of this or whatever, so that you can get a better sense of what worked well, what you might like to change later on, etc. I say this as a tip as you're getting started with polish making, but full disclosure and just being really transparent, even though I'm someone who now I love making my own custom polishes, primarily toppers is the like 99% of the polishes that I make for myself nowadays. Because in my professional work life, I have to be so exact with the things that I do. I think that is what has led to me in my personal hobby life of nail polish, not wanting to have to constantly write down and keep track of the things that I put into my polishes. I really just go by vibes. So yeah, so at some point I'm going to be making a video about like showcasing some of my custom toppers I've made for myself. There are a couple of you who asked for me to do that, and yeah, unfortunately I just don't write down what I put in, because that feels like extra work to me personally. But if you're new to polish making, I do recommend writing the stuff down. Okay, so here's another thing I'm just going to call myself out on. A couple of these polishes here. There's this one. Nope. Wait. This one. You may be looking at this and be like, oh, Olivia, you made like a 1-coat black. I mean, that was not what I intended. But the tip here is a little bit of black liquid pigment goes a very long way. Don't overdo it. Y'all, I think I got so excited. Like I said, I love dark and vampy polishes. So I probably put like 5 like squirts of black in there. And once you put that much black in there, no matter what else you try to put in there, it's just going to be black. That you just have to live with that. It's, you know, typically now if I am making some kind of polish that I'm putting black into, I will just put a little teeny bit on the end of a popsicle stirrer stick and then like dab that in there and build it up from there. So don't get overexcited with black pigment, because there's no going back. And you know, if you are going to be at the polish making workshop and you're like, okay, you're excited to make polish, but you're wondering, well, like what kind of polish should you even think to make? One suggestion I have would be consider trying to dupe one of your favorite polishes that's no longer available for you to buy a backup of. This was my first mission. Y'all, I knew like if nothing else, I was gonna make a dupe for this. So this is where I think I'm actually going to cut over to other Olivia, not that Olivia, but other Olivia over there, and I'm gonna show you a close-up of one of my favorite polishes that I wanted to make a dupe for, and then I'll show you how my version looked. So the polish that I wanted to dupe was this one from Emily Damali called Dead to the World. It's this like it's this deep okay, so it's like red hex glitters and a really deep, maybe they're hex on round, I don't know, but red glitters and this deep red jelly base. And I just adore this, but it's no longer available. So I was like, I can make that. And yeah, this is, my Polish and Beauty Expo, one of my polishes here. Yeah, so this is my version of it. It's pretty much similar. I think if anything, the only difference here, or one of the main differences, my red over here is slightly deeper and has fewer glitters than Dead to the World. So this could be another example of how, like, hey, if you've got a polish that you really like, that you love it, you're trying to dupe it, but then also maybe make it your own. If you're going to the polish making workshop, that could be a fantastic kind of inspiration to have. I just say this because I know how difficult it can be when you get there and suddenly it's like, okay, go make some polishes. And then if you've gone into it and you haven't thought about like, what am I making? Something like this could be a good way to get to have some fun there. Thanks, other Olivia. Feel like I'm a news anchor or something. I would also, like I said, I love toppers. That is, I love toppers. If you all didn't already know from all the topper videos that I have made on this channel, I would say consider experimenting with making toppers. And with this, like, if you are going to go that route, just know that you can experiment with, like, you don't need liquid pigment for toppers. You just put in mixes of glitter and start small. I think a big part of the reason why I got into making my own toppers was that I am very particular about particle density, whether that's glitter or flakes. And I tend to prefer a more sparse particle density, but that I recognize that that's not really how most ready-made toppers out there are intended to be. So I make my own that way. So start small, just kind of mix some stuff up. If you are going to go the topper route, I would also recommend feel free to bring your own like white or black polish with you to swatch out to put over that, because I don't think they're not gonna have anything like that for you to use. But yeah, I really enjoyed the polish making workshop. I decided not to do it again this year because I know tickets for that are really in high demand, and I wanted to give that spot to somebody, or leave that spot open for somebody else who would be able to experience it for the first time. I love it a lot. You also had the opportunity after the workshop to buy some additional supplies from Glitter Unique, as I did. So yeah, if you go, have a lot of fun. It's going to be a great time. Okay, so next, let's get into what to expect in general from the shopping expo. So there's different tiers of tickets, and I believe that for the VIP and general admission tickets, once you check in, you're going to get a swag bag that looks like, at least this was the one here. If you're wondering what's in here, this is very hefty right now. I have like crafting supplies in here now, so this is, I'm not going to be digging in and pulling out what's in here, but yeah, it's a really nice bag. It's a one of these drawstring backpacks, so it's going to be really convenient to like carry on your back if you like. The swag bag will include things like some polishes and like an event brochure that will include a vendor map. I believe that PBE within the Facebook group typically publicizes the vendor map before the expo, so you can strategize like exactly where you want to go and what order, things like that. The event brochure also includes coupon codes that you can use to get discounts when you shop on vendor websites after the expo. So that's do not throw away that event brochure. Like it's going to be really good to hold on to. And then, so you go, you check in, there's going to be a separate line for VIP, another line for like regular admission, and VIP admission gives you like an hour of shopping time before regular admission comes in. So while you're waiting in line, you're just hanging out there, chilling out. But then once your line is able to go into the expo, you then choose which table you want to go to, and then you wait in line for each booth you want to shop at. I'm gonna put a picture here from that I took while I was waiting in line at the 2024 event. So yeah, you're gonna be, so let's say you're at each table, and then once you get closer to the table, generally they'll have like their own kind of display, like I think on like risers, so that you can see them like tiered, and you'll pick out what you want. Many vendors will have like little shopping baskets that you pick up at one end, and then you take it to the end and you pay. I know a question I saw come up, I think prior to last year's PBE, someone was, one of the groups was wondering like, will you be able to like open the bottles? Are there like tester bottles, and can you like swatch out? From my experience, I think the answer is generally no. But many vendors will have their polishes ready swatched out on their own swatch wheels there. So that I think is a really great way to get a sense of what these polishes look like beyond the bottle. Let's see. The event brochure also has a chart that shows which payment methods each vendor is accepting. So if you are looking to do cash only or card, I think pretty much everyone, I'll say in my experience, every vendor that I wanted to shop with accepted credit cards. I was able to use my Apple Pay, things like that. And next thing, prepare to end up carrying a lot of different bags, because when you shop at different vendors, they'll give you your polishes in their own little bags. Some of them are like really cute and shiny. So recommendation here would be, it might be helpful to bring some kind of larger bag that you can use to consolidate your purchases, especially if you did not drive to the event. This would probably not be the most fashionable thing, but I think probably one of the most functional things I would recommend. One of those big blue IKEA shopping bags. That is gonna be your best way to like put a bunch of stuff in, because otherwise you're gonna end up having to hold it in your hands, and it can be a lot. Next, okay, so it can get quite warm in there when you think about how packed in everyone is, and how just like you're standing in line, you're up close to a lot of people. So I would recommend bringing a water bottle, a portable fan, and a cooling towel. I know I'm Southern, but I know I can still say that word. Towel. I don't know what I was about to say. Cooling towel. Anyway, there's also food and snacks that you can buy that's in the area outside of the expo hall. I don't have any experience with that. I do remember seeing like a snack cart though, so know that that is there. Ooh, and then, okay. So also throughout the day, there's gonna be various tutorials scheduled. I don't know exactly how the area is gonna be set up this year, but last year, or the year that I went, you got this more narrow hall that's in the middle, that's like the waiting in line to get into the expo hall area. To your left is like the big expo hall, and then on the other side of that narrow, more narrow, it's not like teeny tiny, but it's like the open, the main entrance hallway. On the right side, there's a space where they had like round tables set up with various tutorials scheduled throughout the day. And so I think it was back in April in the PBE Facebook group, Christy, the organizer, put out a call for some additional volunteers to lead the tutorial tables throughout the day. And as you all know from being on my channel, I love teaching. I'm a former public schools teacher, still do a lot of teaching in the work that I do nowadays too. But anyway, I signed up to volunteer to lead one of the tables for an hour. So I don't know if this may change at some point between now and PBE, but as it is of right now, I will be leading the magnetic polish table from 1 to 2 p.m. So please feel free to stop by. I'm hoping it's not going to be an empty table. I'm going to have my husband there with me, so if nothing else, I'm going to show him some magnetic nail polish. But yeah, feel free to stop by. I don't yet know what I'm going to be covering with that, but it's going to be a lot of fun. Y'all know I love teaching you about things through videos here, so it's going to be really cool to do that in person. Eek! Okay. So now let's get into some tips that I have for introverts. First thing I'll say about this is that I know it can be a common misconception that introverts are people who are, if you are introverted, that means you are automatically socially awkward. It means you automatically have social anxiety. I think that those are separate. Introversion, in my experience, relates more to how your energy works and where you draw your energy from, and to what extent that means drawing energy from being around other people versus you draw energy more from being more towards yourself. It always surprises people when I tell them that I am so introverted. I really, really am. Again, I know I look like Elton John showing up at a bingo hall right now, but I'm so introverted. To give you all an example of this, last month, I think it was, I was in Dallas for an in-person work event that was for newer employees at my company for 2 full days of in-person workshops, team building, stuff like that. And you're with people all day in the same room for 8 hours, and then at the end of the day there was some a social outing and stuff, and many of the people there were yeah, I can't wait to go out for the shuffleboard at the end of the day and have dinner with everyone and bond. This is going to be great. Meanwhile, for me, my energy was just okay, I've really enjoyed spending time with you all. And because I'm looking forward to spending time with you again tomorrow, I need to do what's best for me right now and go and recharge. And so what I ended up doing was I went back to my hotel room, sat in the dark and quiet for a while. It was nice. I am very outwardly approachable. I'm very engaging and things like that. But ultimately, when it comes to my own energy, I just, at a certain point of being around other people and a lot of people, I just kind of crash. My husband, Jack, his energy shifts a bit differently than mine. With him, it can be a gradual drop off with energy during the day. With me though, I can be riding up here, woo, 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 and then boom, sudden drop off. So now that I know that about myself, I make sure to do things that I need to do to better prepare in advance. And so knowing that PBE, you're going to be surrounded by people all day. Here are a couple of suggestions that I have for how introverts can better handle that. So one thing is, please feel free to step out of the main shopping area and into the quieter hallways if you ever need to take a break from being around so many people. So once again, as I've been saying, I want to really paint a clear picture of what the venue space is like so that you know what to expect. When you first walk into the convention center, there's going to be immediately to your left, this hallway that goes down the hallway. That is a sentence, I guess. But there's nothing happening at least in previous years, there was nothing happening in that area. And it wasn't even where you had like entry and exit points from the expo. So that would be where I would recommend to go if you need to step out, take a complete breather from everything. Know that that is there. I also would encourage you to bring a book to keep you occupied while you're standing in line. I always have my Kindle glued to me. I love reading my book, and that it can be very much a good way to like not only draw back in within yourself while you're in, like, you know, reading a book while you're standing in line, but also it can be a way to signal to other people like, hey, I'm kind of doing my own thing right now. So that's kind of what's up. And I guess with this too, I was thinking about this because like, this will be my first time going to PBE now that I have a YouTube channel, and now that people know who I am, and now that I'm looking forward to meeting those of you who will be there. But at the same time, I know that I need to balance that with my needs of being an introvert and needing to be like, okay, I just need to take a mental break. So like, if you happen to see me reading my Kindle at a moment, that's probably just like, I do this where I'll bring it out for just like 5-10 minutes, and I just need to like recharge. So if you happen to see me when I'm reading my book, it probably means I just need to take a breather, recharge in my mind. But then if the Kindle's away, then I'm like, hey, come talk to me. You know, I want to make sure that I'm taking care of myself and that I don't burn out, but also that I get to enjoy the experience and meet you all, because that's going to be so much fun. Okay, next, tips for any of you who experience social anxiety or some kind of social awkwardness. This is also me. I think that Jack says I have this superpower that I'm pretty sure I got this from my mom, because growing up, I remember like when we would be out like at the grocery store or something, she could just start up a conversation with anybody. And sure enough, like I'm pretty good at that. It's something that doesn't necessarily come naturally to me though, but I have figured out ways that I do this that allow me to more easily start talking to the people around me, even if I have no idea who they are. So as someone who goes to a lot of conferences, my main strategy is this. It's going to sound weird, but y'all, I promise this works. Like when you are standing in line, and let's say if you're there by yourself, but you know you're there by yourself, but you want to feel like more part of what's going on, you don't want to feel alone. Okay, you're going to be standing in lines. Main tip, just start talking with people about like what's currently going on. To be like, so what I would do, I would turn to like either the person behind me or the person in front of me and say like, do you know when this is opening up? Or like, oh, that's a really cool polish. You know, just make conversation about what is happening in the moment. When I'm at conferences where there's like food or something, like at a conference where they will have like the breakfast buffet, I'll be in line and I'll just start talking with people about muffins. Like, because there's muffins there, right? It would be a little bit odd if there were no muffins and I'm like, let's talk about muffins. But for real though, it is such a great way to break the ice and to be like, ooh, that muffin looks real good. Like, what are you gonna get? And I can get a sense pretty quickly on if someone's like not having it and they're just like, they don't want to talk, which is totally valid. But it is a way to at least try to break the ice and get a sense of who may or may not be interested in talking with you. Something I mentioned earlier, that there's going to be the tutorial tables that are happening throughout the day that's off on the side tables. I definitely encourage you to sit at those tables to, when you're doing something involving an activity. That's a fantastic way to start chatting with people. If I remember correctly, there's also other tables there that aren't necessarily activity linked, but more so you just kind of want to sit, take a breather, start talking with people there too. Chat about I remember midway through the day, I was sitting there at one point and I started talking with some people there to say, ooh, what are some of the polishes that you bought today? What are you most looking forward to wearing? Things like that. But probably my main tip that I have for anyone who's going to PBE who may be experiencing social anxiety is, we haven't even gotten to, this is where we're going to talk about, what do you wear on your nails that day? Wear a Skittle manicure with different polishes from various brands that you're excited to shop with, because people will be one of the best ways to strike a conversation with people at PBE is to ask about oh, what are you wearing? What's on your nails? And if you were to wear just a single polish on your hands, that's totally cool. You are really just talking about that one polish, that one brand. But if you were to do a Skittle manicure that even from 3 or 4 different polishes from different brands, you could say for example, oh, so this one is from Gin and Berries, this one is from Lurid, this one is from Atomic, this one is from why am I blanking on polished brands right now, and so on, right? And that way that makes it so much more likely that the person you're speaking with will be like, oh my goodness, I love Gin and Berries, that's one of my favorite brands too. Y'all, it is it is trust me when I say, do a Skittle manicure from various brands, and that will open up doors and make it a lot easier for you to have conversations with people. And then you get to ask about what's on their nails too. And I really would also just encourage you to remind yourself that if you happen to, kind of strike out with the people who are in line next to you, you can always move couple spaces back in the line and try again with somebody else who seems more open to having a conversation. As someone who does experience, as I'm saying, both introversion and social anxiety, going to an event like PBE, where especially if you're going solo, it can feel very intimidating, and I want to make sure that I validate those concerns. But I do hope that what I've shared so far is helpful for any of you who have been concerned about oh my goodness, what is this really going to be like? So now let's talk about some tips that I have for anyone who experiences sensory overload. Yeah, that is me. I often experience, I don't know if I've talked about this on here before, but I have a hearing impairment called auditory processing disorder that can often make it difficult for me to, for my brain to process spoken words as they come in when there's a lot of competing sounds. And so, for example, for most people, the way this works is that when your brain is hearing, if you're having auditory input from 4 or 5 different people, and that sound wave comes into your brain is, for the most part, able to parse out okay, this sound wave fragment is coming from this source, this one's coming from that one, this is coming from that one, right? But with my auditory processing disorder, a lot of that can often become jumbled. And so it's when there's a lot of people talking over each other at the same time, my brain just shuts down and is just we ain't hearing anything right now. This is hard. Thankfully, I have workarounds for this. But it also, for me, means that from an auditory standpoint, I tend to become a little bit more easily overwhelmed with a lot of sound, because what I do want to hear is save my brain's mental processing power for like conversations and things like that. But when it's taking in so much additional input and sound that is having to filter through, that can lead to a lot more mental fatigue. So for me, I tend to use earplugs a lot. I use the ones that I use are the Loop Experience ones, I think that's what it's called, where like when I go to concerts even, and they're fantastic because they allow you to still hear the stuff that you want, but it feels like it's at a lower volume. But more commonly, I use my AirPods Pro 2 that, I had my original AirPods and I thought the noise cancellation in those was good. But then they after a few years, they started buzzing. I was just like, let me just get some new AirPods. And I got the Pro 2 and I love it. When I turn on the noise cancellation, it just shuts everything out. It is so good. So definitely encourage any of you, if you have that kind of auditory overwhelm, please bring some earplugs, some AirPods, turn it down, whatever you need to do. Also would say from a visual standpoint, so I feel like, I know sometimes people can experience migraines when they are in a lot of like harsh overhead lighting. Thankfully, for me, it doesn't get to the point where I get migraines, but what I do experience would be just like a lot of, I'm just sensitive to a lot of bright indoor harsh lighting. So, visual time. So these glasses that I wear are from Pair Eyewear. They're the kind that have these like magnetized like top frames, again because I love color coordination. So I think I've got like 20 of these in different colors, so I can always coordinate. But then in addition to that, I also have some of their like tinted lens frames. So let me see, hold up real quick here. Which of these? One of these is sunglasses. So these right here are the ones I wear like outside when I need actual sun protection. So like that. And then I could even put on like this here. I wouldn't wear these indoors, but what I do have also that I recently got are various tinted lenses. So I've got these in blue here, so you can still see my eyes through here, but this helps so much to like dampen the overhead lighting. I also have these in green. This is when for times like I want to feel like I'm in the Matrix. Really though, this is Matrix. But most commonly, the indoor lighting ones that I use are, stick on there. There we go. These that are like pink, and then I can once again put these on top of there. So you're probably gonna see me wearing these in the expo at some point. It's such a great way to like have a more warmer like lighting feel. So if any of you can relate to this absolutely helps me to avoid being overstimulated visually. And then, once I get up to a polish table, that would be when I take these off, and then because I want to see what the polishes look like, and like otherwise everything's gonna look pink. I would also encourage you to preview polishes in places like the Polish and Beauty Expo Facebook group and swatcher videos. I'm not on Instagram, but I think a lot of these brands and swatchers will be making previews on Instagram as well. And that can help you make some of your shopping decisions in advance. And then you come to PBE with a list you can easily check off. If you're wondering why this is in the sensory overload section. So I was surprised a few years ago when I realized the extent to which I can experience visual overstimulation. I was on a trip to London. I was visiting the Victoria and Albert Museum, which was, I could spend a whole week in there and still not see everything. And I think if I can find, I'm going to insert a picture up here of one of the like gallery rooms that I went into. And this was when I knew I needed to nope out of the museum. So many rooms there were like that. And I just, with the way that my brain works, it's always just, it can be hard to focus if there's just so much in front of it at any given time. I was like, because they're like, I live in the Chicago area, go to the Art Institute of Chicago all the time, but we don't really have gallery rooms here that are that visually busy, and I'm just like, it's too much for me. And this is I think part of why Jack loves going to Costco and I don't, because he loves seeing a lot of stuff and having a lot to look through, and I don't. So it can be like that at PBE if you come in without any kind of game plan, because you go from table to table and you're like, ooh, polish here, ooh, more polish there. And then you realize, oh my goodness, it's just so much to look at. So what I'm recommending is use those shopping resources that will be available ahead of time. And that way it allows you to like better spread out the amount of time that you're spending like looking at polishes. And then you get to PBE, you get to each table, you come with a list of what you already have picked out in advance that you like on your own individual shopping list. And of course, yeah, you still leave room for additional polishes that you might want to get, but it's not like you're having to look at every single thing for the first time. All right, we are in the home stretch. So finally, some shopping tips that I just have in general here. So I just mentioned in the last part about using social media resources related to PBE for making a plan for what to buy. But I also then encourage you to come up with a strategy for what exactly you want to prioritize. So like maybe if you're hoping to get a gift with purchase that will only be available to the first X number of customers, or like if there's certain doorbusters like that, that's something that can help you to figure out which tables to go to first. Also, I recommend using those social media resources to learn which polishes will only be available to buy at PBE versus which ones you can easily buy later on the brand's website. So, for instance, many brands will be launching new collections that will be available at PBE that you normally would buy on their website. And because it's a regular collection, you'll still be able to buy it on their website afterwards. But, if you're trying to set a budget, if you're trying to like not be carrying a whole lot of polish back home with you on a single day, you may want to prioritize your in-person PBE shopping for things that are more exclusive to PBE versus something you can buy on their website later. And something that I also didn't know my first PBE is that many brands will have their PBE exclusive polishes available as overpours on their websites after they've gotten home from the event, once they've had a chance to rest, recover, take stock of what's still available. And so let's say you've got, there's a brand that, again, this is a random number, I do not have any idea of like how many bottles they bring, but let's say a brand has they come to PBE with 250 bottles of a PBE exclusive polish, and then they end up selling 200 of those at PBE once they've gotten home, rested, and then they've taken inventory and they see they have 50 bottles remaining. At some point they will make those overpours available for anyone to buy on their website. Now, this is where you're gonna need to follow most likely the brand's individual social media pages for updates on the timelines for this. I think a lot of them will also make those posts in the PBE Facebook group after the event, but this is where there's really no standard timeline for this. I remember in previous years seeing it where some brands will have theirs up and ready for shopping as soon as like later that week after PBE, whereas for others, understandably so, they're like, I'm tired, I'm gonna need to take a break, and maybe it won't be until a month or so later. So keep an eye out for the brands that you're interested in and stay up to date with what it is that they say their timelines are. As far as budget, if you're trying to stick to a budget and not overshop, consider shopping with cash rather than with credit cards. I know there's also something I saw with like Tenley Park taxes, and I think some vendors factor that in for card purchases, but not cash. I don't know for sure, but just something to keep in mind if you are trying to plan out what you're shopping with. And then lastly, many vendors will be selling mystery polishes. And when I was there in 2024, I saw a lot of them that I bought for $5, and they'll have like their own like little ways of like having them wrapped up like in tissue paper, for example. Those were a lot of fun for me to get and bring home and then unwrap them together with Jack. So like if you are going to PBE alone, but then when you come home, you've got your significant other, your kids, your family, whoever who have expressed an interest in this hobby, that could be a really fun way for you to experience the event with them. So this was a lot. I knew it was going to be a lot. But again, there are timestamps. And also I just wanted to be as thorough as possible. And I looked at this as me making the kind of video that I know would have been helpful for me to see prior to going to my first PBE a couple years ago. I really hope that this video was helpful for all of you. I also mentioned in the beginning that I want to talk a little bit about my recent trip to New York for those of you who like to live vicariously through me. So I'm going to do that now. I'm filming this video on a Saturday morning, and I went to New York earlier this week for a few days to present a talk at this big tech expo that was happening there. And I was really excited about it because so this was an event that my company was one of the main sponsors for, and they had as part of being a sponsor, they were given a time slot for like a breakout technical session. Now, they had already committed to this and everything like long before I joined the company a few months ago. But shortly after I joined the company, I found out that the person, the employee who was scheduled to present that talk was leaving the company. And so they needed someone else who was able to do that. They needed someone who was familiar with our product, also with the platform that was related to the expo there, and they needed someone who was a qualified public speaker. And I'm like, hi, I will do it. So this for me, I had to create the content. I had to, because I only had like a half hour to talk with the guy before he left the company, and he hadn't finished putting everything together. So it was really, the ball was in my court. And I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. So I was nervous because I wanted to make a really good impression with my new company. But yeah, y'all, it went so well. I've got to say, whenever I do like speak at an event, I have no way of knowing until I get there the day of, like how like what the size of the room is going to be. In my mind, leading up to this event, I thought, okay, so it's probably going to be a room for like 50 people in the audience or something like that. No, it was bigger. I'm going to insert a picture up here that you can see, and like this that little red ball in there of hair is me. And that picture only shows about a third of the size of that room. It was that big. I think there were maybe about 250, if not 300 people in that room, and just about every single seat was taken. And I felt so comfortable. I was trying to say confident and comfortable at the same time. That's what happened. I felt so confident and comfortable up there. I had a blast. And before I could even get back from the room where I was speaking to my company's booth in the expo hall, I got back there, and like my team members were saying to me like, Olivia, we've already had people come up to us and tell us they just came from your session and they loved it, and they came over here directly because they want to learn more about what you were talking about. So that just made me feel so good. I love public speaking, and I'm really glad I was able to do that. On a fun note, well, public speaking is fun for me. So like on a different kind of fun note, I've mentioned on here before that I love the theater, and so while I was there, I saw 2 different shows. On the first night, I saw Chess, which was I'd been wanting to see Chess for the longest time, and I kept telling myself I'll see it at some point. But then like a week or so ago, I found out that it was going to be closing on, I think, June 21st. That might be like, yeah, like I think tomorrow it's closing. So unfortunately, if you're watching this video now, you probably are not going to have a chance to see this revival of it. But I got myself a ticket to see it, and it was so much fun. It was very like campy, and in many ways, finally got to see Leah Michele perform live for the first time. Aaron Tibbett, I saw him previously when he was in Sweeney Todd a couple years ago with Sutton Foster. He was always fantastic. And then Nicholas Christopher, my goodness. Yeah, I could listen to that man sing the phone book. He was just so passionate and just everything. Really enjoyed Chess. And then on the next night, I saw Ragtime, which has just won a few Tony Awards, including, I want to say, Best Revival of a Musical, and then the 2 lead actors, the lead actor and actress, got Best Tony Awards. So the energy from the cast, but then also from the audience, was very much like, and I don't think I took a picture of the cast at the end because I was just so enraptured with everything. I was just like in the moment, but like it was the energy of they just won all these Tonys, and just so good. I went into it just knowing a little bit about the story, knowing like, okay, it's happening in the, early part of the centuries. We've got different groups of people here. It was I would say if you're going to go see Ragtime, bring some tissues. It was so beautifully done. The stage, like everything with that was incredible. I'm so glad I got to see that. I believe last I saw that is currently set to go. It's going through August. So if you're taking a trip to New York and you're thinking about something that you might want to see on Broadway, go see Ragtime. You will not regret it. And so then that let out, and it started at 8. It went for like 3 hours. So I think I got out of there like 11:30 that night. And it was up on like 65th Street around Lincoln Center. And then okay, so fun fact, one of the most recent times I've been to Lincoln Center was 20 years ago around this time of year when I was graduating from college there. I went to NYU for college, and y'all remember David Blaine, the magician? He was doing this stunt where he was like living in a bubble in Lincoln Center for like a week before doing this like holding his breath experiment. And so because I had finished with my classes at that point, I was like, I don't have anything to do between now and graduation. Let me go see David Blaine in a bubble. So I'm gonna insert a picture of me with David Blaine in the bubble. I'm like holding his hand anyway. But yeah, I guess the last thing I'll say about this trip was I got out late. It was like 65th-ish street around Lincoln Center, and my hotel was back down on like the 30s. So I was just like, I'm just gonna feel like walking. I'm just gonna walk. And it really took me back to one of the things I just love most about being a college student in New York City. Like when you're out late at night, I mean, goodness, like 11:30 at night for me at that time was like early, but like just walking down the streets, like walking the 30-ish blocks back to my hotel, just strolling, taking my time. It's something that I I just absolutely love the vibe and the energy of New York. It's always going to be home for me in a certain way, and I had a blast. But yeah, I was, y'all haven't seen me for a bit because I have been tired. I slept last night for like 13 hours. So, whoo, boy, yeah. So all that is to say, had a great trip to New York, both for personal and professional reasons. And yeah, so to finally wrap up all this, because I know this has been a very long video, thank you all for watching, for being here. If you will be at the Polish and Beauty Expo, please say hi. I'm an introvert. I'm socially awkward, but I love nail polish and glitter and color. And so I can't wait to talk with all of you about that and just have a fantastic time. So until the next video, thanks again for being here, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye.